dignitaries on the dais, the President of the Indian Union Muslim League, Janab Khadir Mohuddin Sahab, and my friend E.T. Muhammad Bashir Sahab, MP, P.K. Kunhal Kuti Sahab, MLA, then Professor and other dignitaries, because the names I am not aware. And brothers and sisters. Today's conference on Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 at Chennai is a historic conference. Definitely, this conference will send a message to the nation that the Muslims, who are the only beneficiaries of Waqf, will not allow the sinister design of this NDA government to change and to indirectly interfere in the affairs of the religious affairs of the Muslim community. The decision to amend the Waqf Act is taken at Nagpur by the RSS, because the next agenda they had to divert the attention of the nation is to meddle with the Waqf Act, because they had exhausted all other things. Now, why they are using this? They have created an impression among the non-Muslim brethren that Muslims have looted the property, Muslims are having large number of properties which belongs to various other people, and they are creating a public image that this Waqf law is a draconian law and propagating that this Waqf Act has an unlimited power and they can snatch your property. You might have seen the statement of the Minister for Minority Affairs who have piloted this bill. He has quoted Section 40 of this Act without explaining Section 40. He has just said, this section will take away all your rights. Tomorrow the Waqf board will come, say that this is Waqf property, you have lost your rights. This is the sort of propaganda they are doing, and that is what unfortunately the Muslim brethren, the non-Muslim brethren have understood the law. That is why I have said several places, we have to conduct conferences, we have to conduct protest, everything is there. Plus, along with it, we should try to explain the position to our non-Muslim brethren through press conference, through interaction. We have not been interacting with other non-Muslim brethren to clear their doubts. So this is one of the agenda, the Muslim community, if you want to protect, we have to seek the support of everybody. Unless we do that, we may lose the battle. And we will succumb to the designs of the BJP. Now, what is that they are doing in this bill? First, let us understand what is Waqf. Waqf is dedication by a Muslim for a religious or charitable purpose. And once a Waqif dedicates, he loses all rights in that, whether movable or immovable property. It becomes, he is giving in the name of Allah, the God. And all rights of the Waqif will go away, and Allah is in effect, is the owner of all the Waqf property. Now, Waqf is a relation between an individual who has dedicated in Allah. It is not with anybody else. Directly the relation of Waqif and Allah is established because he seeks from Allah the blessings, that is for the sake of society benefit he has given. Sawab-e-Jariya, what we say, is the purpose for which any person can dedicate. Because in 2013, we amended that even non-Muslims who have dedicated for pious and charitable purpose also will be treated as Waqf. So now, there are a lot of properties which have been dedicated in the past by kings, non-Muslim kings, rulers, all that. That also is Waqf properties on today because it is given to the Muslim for religious and charitable purpose. So thousands and thousands of acres of land have been given in the past, even by non-Muslim, for the purpose of Waqf, for the benefit of Waqf, for the management of various dargahs, mosques and other things in the country. Now one of the objective is now they want to undo the Supreme Court decision, which is once a Waqf, always a Waqf. This decision has completely decided that Waqf properties cannot be changed. The characteristic of the Waqf properties cannot be changed. That is one thing, because the Supreme Court has retaliated in several other judgments after that also. So now the concern is there are several hundreds and thousands of lands given for maintenance of dargahs, shrines and other things. I will just give you an example. In Andhra Pradesh, in Vizag, 5,000 acres of land has been given on Waqf for maintenance of a shrine. After the Inam Abolition Act, the government usurps all the lands given to various shrines in the name of abolition of Inam Abolition Act. And almost all the Inam lands given to Muslim religious charitable institutions were taken back by the government. Then there is disputes. So ultimately, the Supreme Court held that lands grants given for a permanent, for the maintenance of the shrines, not for the maintenance of the mutwallis or other things, but shrines, is a permanent dedication, and that characteristic cannot be changed, it remains permanent. So that judgment is causing problem. That 5,000 acres land I told you in Andhra Pradesh, the Andhra Pradesh government had granted about 2,000 acres of land out of that, one to the Power Corporation, another to Hindujas, 1,000 acres. Once the judgment was got, the government, Andhra Pradesh government had to refund 20 crores which they had given the land for various other people, and then they returned that 3,000 acres balance to the Waqf board. Based on this judgment, another property in Hyderabad to another dargah, it is about 1,600 acres. And that property is the heart of Hyderabad. And what has happened is, the case is going on, and the government has taken over all the land. Now the high-tech city which has come in Hyderabad is entirely on this 1,600 acres, and which is worth several thousand crores. The Supreme Court itself has estimated the value of this property is 34,000 crores. So these are some of the things which they are not able to digest. They want to reverse it. This is one of the objectives of doing this. And then, Srimati Indira Gandhi, the government is in possession of several Waqf property, as several speakers have said that government is the biggest encroacher. She has given direction that if the Waqf property, it is a Waqf property, if government don't need it, you return back. One. Second, suppose government wants that land, you enter into lease agreement with the Waqf board. Then you want to, permanently you want, acquire it under the Land Acquisition Act. This was the direction which was given by the Prime Minister then. But it was only a directive. Nobody was following it. So what I did in 2013 is, I converted this direction into an act, into law. Now the law is, once the tribunal a land which is under the possession of the government, once the tribunal decides that it is a Waqf property, the government has to return that property within 6 months after the decision of the tribunal. If they want it, they have to use the normal Land Acquisition Act and acquire it and pay adequate compensation. This is another change we brought in 2013. Apart from that, in 2013 amendment is brought with broader consultation. Some of my colleagues were there when then they were members of parliament when the bill is piloted. I did my best to get consensus, including BJP. I will show you. This is the manifesto of BJP of 2009. And in that manifesto, under the heading Waqf Properties, the BJP will examine the recommendation of Joint Parliamentary Committee regarding Waqf properties, headed by Sri Rahman Khan, Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha, and would, in consultation with the Muslim religious leaders, take steps to remove encroachment from unauthorized occupation of the Waqf property. This is the BJP stand in 2009. And when I piloted the bill in 2013, the entire House, there is not a single dissent or any opposition. In fact, all the BJP members who spoke, they supported it. Now, what has happened in just from 2013 and 2014, we lost the government. After that, in 10 years, they have done this homework and they have come up with this amendment bill. This amendment bill will take back. You see, some of you who know the history of Waqf, the first act was enacted in 1956. Then it was a very weak law and debated for several years. Several committees of the Central Waqf Council were formed. Then it took 25 years to amend the 1995 Act. Not 1 year or 2 years, 25 years. After that, several drafts were made that were rejected, and then finally, Mr. Sitaram Kesri, when he was the minister, he piloted a final bill in 1995, was enacted, final act. Fortunately, while the bill was passed, I had the privilege of participating in the debate in 1995 Act also. Then it changed the characteristic. The basic, till that, the entire board is a government board. Entire board was a nominated board. Whomsoever all the minister want, whatever the government want, they used to be nominated, like any other government committees. It had no powers. So for the first time, majority of the members of the board should be elected. So elected members were brought in from various categories, from members of parliament, from members of legislature, from mutawallis, from bar council, all that, they were all elected members. So the board was an elected board, except for 4 or 5 nominees for the government. So the board its autonomy was restored in 1995. Otherwise, it was not an autonomous body. Now in 1995, it becomes an autonomous body. And then, what we did, there is need for certain supervision. Actually, government has no role to play under the act except if the board is not functioning according to the act, then only they will issue directives. Otherwise, they have no right to give any direction, give this property, lease this property, nothing. The government has no right, except if the board violates any of the provision of the act, they can give direction. And we made it very strict that the government should give direction. The Central Waqf Council, as a regulatory authority, should have some powers. We restored some powers to the Central Waqf Council. So now, what is the reason for the change? The minister, while with the parliament, said, we want to bring transparency. We want to give right to the women. And now, otherwise, that there is corruption. They have not talked anything about encroachment. The another thing, 2013 we brought, there was no definition of encroachment. So courts were, and the people are using their own way of encroachment. So for the first time we introduced an encroachment, the definition of an encroachment. Now what is encroachment according to law? Now under the present law, if any person is holding a Waqf property without proper document, he is an encroacher. He is punishable under law. It's a crime. Similarly, if a person has taken on lease, because what major, everybody takes 11 months lease and keep for 20 years, 30 years. So now, if a person is holding a property under lease, if the lease agreement is over or it has not been renewed, he is an encroacher. Just this, so there is no ambiguity who is an encroacher. Now, the problem what is there is the work boards were not acting. We have also certain this one. Our boards all over the country are not functioning properly. The first JPC which I headed is to study the functioning of the work boards. And I had the privilege of visiting all the countries, 23 or 24 work boards, and my report contains details state-wise. So they have not been able to say what is the defect in 2013 Act. So far nobody has found out what are the deficiencies in the 2013 amendments. So logically they are not able to prove. That is why they are making a communal issue. What communal issue is? The non-Muslim brothers have been created. They are citing one example of Tamil Nadu Waqf Board of in the road. And they say that the entire village has been declared Waqf property, and then you will not be able to get it. That was not, and for that they quote Section 40. Section 40, this was, I inquired it, this was surveyed in 1958 and notified in the Gazette. Now they are saying that Section 40 is responsible for that holding the Waqf property. So these are false rumors they are spreading. So I don't think this battle will end after the JPC gives the report. I don't expect much relief from the JPC in the bill. We, as some of the legal experts also said, this is a constitutional issue. Section 14, Section 26, Section 25, 26, and 29 are affected. Now, take for example, in the board, 2 non-Muslims representatives should be there, sir. It is against Article 14 because they have not prescribed similar this thing in other religious enactment like endowment or Gurdwara Prabandhak Samiti law and various other religious act has been passed. That similar provision has not been there. Then why they are making that 2 non-Muslims should be there in the Waqf board? They will not be able to explain legally, constitutionally. Then Article 26 gives right for the religious community to manage their own affair, properties or whatever is there, but there is no need for the interference of the government. These are our fundamental rights. We have to, if the bill is ultimately passed, we will have to start a constitutional battle. We have to fight constitutionally. So I am happy. This bill has created an awareness among the community. The difficulty we face is something we can look into it. But one advantage is, one benefit of this is, the community is awakened. Now we should not again sleep. We should work hard to take this battle forward if the JPC is not able to give a relief. I am happy that we have very good members of opposition parties in the JPC, and Mr. Raja is also there on the JPC, and there are other members also. There are other secular members also, and I request them that to take up this, because there is no logic. There is no reason for that. And the minister has lied to the parliament. He has misled the parliament, misled the people. And they are continuously doing it. So they have to come out with the reason why each section has to be. They are saying they are amending 40 sections, but ultimately they are amending 85 amendments are there to this. So every positive amendment we made in 2013 is negative, is turned. And they have taken back this act to the 1956 act, which was useless, which was non-implementable, which could not protect the Waqf properties in 1950. Same, we have gone to the old position. Never in the history legislation will take you back. They take forward. But this legislation has taken us back. So it seems the government has taken the community for right. And we accept whatever they do. And we have to stand united and fight this battle with all our right, constitutionally, legally. We have to adapt all methods and see our rights are protected. Thank you very much.
ரஹ்மான் சான்கர் அவர்களுக்கு மனமார்ந்த நன்றியினை தெரிவித்துக் கொண்டோம். அவருடைய உரையினுடைய சுருக்கத்தை நம்முடைய மாநில துணைத் தலைவர் KT கிசர் முகமது அவர்கள் வழங்குவார்கள். அதன் பிறகு நிறைவாக ராஜா அவர்களுடைய நம்மளுடைய திமுக கழகத்தினுடைய துணை பொதுச் செயலாளர்
பிஸ்மில்லாஹிர் ரஹ்மானிர் ரஹீம். அளவற்ற அருளாளனும் நிகரற்ற அன்புடையனும் அல்லாவின் திருப்பெயரால் ஆரம்பம் செய்கின்றேன். மதிப்பிற்கும் மரியாதைக்கும் உரிய தலைவர் பேராசிரியர் முனீருல் மில்லத் ஆதர் மொய்தீன் அவர்களே மற்றும் இங்கு ஆங்கிலத்தில் உரையாற்றி சென்றுள்ள ரஹ்மான் கான் சாஹிப் அவர்களே, குஞ்சாலி குட்டி அவர்களே, பஷீர் சாஹிப் அவர்களே, ராஜ உரையை நிகழ்த்த வந்திருக்க ராஜா அவர்களே, இப்பொழுது நம்முடைய முன்னாள் அமைச்சர் ரஹ்மான் கான் அவர்கள் பேசிய உரையின் மிக சுருக்கமான தமிழாக்கத்தை உங்களுக்கு தருகின்றேன். அவர் பல இடங்களில் பேசியதை கோர்த்து அதை ஒரு மிக்சராக செய்து மெட்ராஸ் மிக்சராக உங்களுக்கு நான் தருகின்றேன். அவர் வக்ஃபு என்பது ஒரு முஸ்லீமோ முஸ்லீம் அல்லாதவரோ இறைவனுக்காக தன் சொத்தை அர்ப்பணிப்பது என்று அவர் கூறியுள்ளார். வக்ஃபு என்பது அல்லாஹ்வுக்காக செய்யப்பட்ட ஒன்று. அந்த வக்ஃபு செய்த பிறகு அந்த வக்ஃபு சொத்தின் மீது யாருக்கும் வக்ஃபு செய்தவருக்கே உரிமை இல்லை என்று அவர் குறிப்பிட்டார். அதாவது இப்போ இருக்கக்கூடிய சட்டத்தில் எதற்காக இந்த சட்டம் கொண்டு வரப்பட்டது என்பதை பல மாநிலங்களில் உரையாற்றும் போது அவர் முதலில் கேட்ட கேள்வி, முதலில் இந்த வக்ஃபு சட்டத்தை பெயர் மாற்றம் செய்வது ஏன், எதற்காக இந்த பெயர் மாற்றம், மனிதர்களை குழப்பதற்காக செய்யப்பட்ட பெயர் மாற்றம் என்று கூறினார். அதுக்கடுத்து அவர் பேசும்போது 2 முஸ்லிம் அல்லாதவர்கள் வக்ஃப் போர்டில் இருக்கலாம் என்று கூறப்படுகிறது, அது எப்படி ஏற்றுக்கொள்ளப்படும் என்று அவர் கேட்டார். அதற்கடுத்ததாக ஒரு முக்கியமான கேஸை சொன்னார். அதாவது ஆந்திரா பிரதேசத்தில் 5000 ஏக்கர் ஒரு சூஃபி சைன்ட் கூடிய ஹசரத் கூடிய அந்த தர்கா கூடிய நிலத்தை அந்த ஆந்திர அரசாங்கம், ரைட், ஓகே, ராஜாவுடைய பேச்சை கேட்க இருப்பதால் நான் உடனடியாக முடித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். ஒரே ஒரு வார்த்தை மட்டும் நான் சொல்லுகிறேன். இன்றைய தினம் 85 வயதை தாண்டிய பேராசிரியர் காதர் மொய்தீனும் நம்முடைய ரஹ்மான் கானும் இந்த வக்ஃப் பிரச்சனை எடுத்து களத்தில் போராடி கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். அவர்களுக்கு முஸ்லிம் சமுதாயமும் முஸ்லிம் அல்லாத சமுதாயமும் பக்க பலமாக நிற்க வேண்டும் என்று கூறி விடைபெறுகிறேன்.